'cause sometimes life just gets real crazy, and it seems like we all get a little jaded, so maybe it's time to pack a bag.
Morning, friends. Temperatures have started to drop, snow's coming, clouds are overhead. It's chilly, y'all. Not that much really happened this week, honestly. Not that I filmed or that seemed that exciting to tell you guys. So I wanted to just do kind of a shorter episode and not so much about the adventure, but a little bit about house sitting and how that can help you as a van lifer and why I do that. But first, I figured I could start with a van life story for you. Story time. Weird things happen all the time when you live in a van. I feel like people react to you in strange ways, so I thought it'd be funny to share some of those throughout the episodes. This story, okay, so it was a lovely day. It was sunny and beautiful, and I was pulling up to the park, and all my windows are down because it's lovely outside, and I'm listening to music, and before I can even park my car, like I'm still in motion in the van. Before I can even park, suddenly this dude that I have never seen before in my life just sticks his head in my passenger side window, and like far in, and starts looking in the back of the van and just like saying how cool it is. He's like, wow, man, like super cool. You live in here, blah, blah, blah. Never met him before in my life. So I'm a little put off, and I'm like, hey, dude, like, I'm not done parking. Can you, like, back up, please? I'm gonna run over your feet if you don't move. He's like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So he moves, and I finish parking the car, and as soon as I turn it off, his head is back in the window, asking me all these really personal questions, and just like, I mean, obviously excited that to see a van, but you wouldn't like open someone's door to their house and be like, wow, it's really cool in here. So it was just really weird. And I kind of just was like, okay, back up. Like, I'm gonna roll up my windows. And I rolled up the window, and I was not being particularly friendly or inviting to this, just because, you're like encroaching on my space. So whatever. So park it, roll up the window, I get out of the car, and he comes around to keep talking to me. Um, and eventually this whole thing ends in him asking if I want to go. He like invited me to go camping with him and three people that were just sitting in a car nearby, like watching this whole interaction and laughing. Um, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'm good. Like, I'm not gonna come camping with your friends. Like, thanks. I don't know you. So he follows it up with, well, we have mushrooms. Do you want to come do mushrooms with us in the woods? And I'm just like, it's so funny. I'm just like, why would you think that a stranger that you've never met before wants to come do mushrooms with you in the woods and your three friends? Like, you're gonna murder me. It's so strange. But there's just something about living in a van that I don't know what it is. People just like assume that you're a certain kind of person, and that, oh my god, it just started snowing. Anyway, and that people assume you're like a really specific kind of person that is just up for camping with strangers and taking mushrooms with them. And I'm not saying that no one that lives in a van is, but I'm definitely am saying that not everyone that lives in a van is. Little short story time for you. Get yourself used to the potential of having those types of interactions if you want to live in a van, cause they happen a lot. Wow, as I'm saying this, there's someone walking behind the van that like is checking it out so hard. They clearly don't know that I'm in here. People are funny. Okay, guys, let's talk about house sitting. It's something that I do. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that at least once. I'm house sitting right now. So house sitting is awesome. I'm house sitting. It's something that I think is very beneficial for people that live in vans or any type of mobile home, trailer, whatever you got going on. Not gonna lie, I already filmed this like yesterday morning, and I went back to start editing it, and I sound and look so bored. So I want to talk a little bit about house sitting today. So bored that I had to do it again. It just was unacceptable. Okay, let's talk about reasons to house sit. To escape the heat or escape the cold, depending on the season. The next thing is that you can enjoy all of their modern commodities. I personally love that there's an oven and a bathtub. It gives me time to focus on my projects. I was able to start this YouTube channel because of house sitting. I've built a website while house sitting, focusing on my writing or my business or my personal projects while I have the internet and I have undisturbed time to focus. Coffee shops, libraries, all of these places are awesome, but they all have hours and closing time. And if you're like me, you get really sucked into a project sometimes, and when 3 or 4 o'clock rolls around and that barista kicks you out, it sucks. You can be in the middle of a project. So I think house sitting is super helpful to just get that thing done, you know. The other thing can be like special circumstance in building my massage website while I'm here. And I asked the house owner permission to use their location as a shooting location for a massage photo shoot for my website. It's the last step I needed to get everything published. Okay, so that's benefits of house sitting, just a couple. There are 2 ways that I house sit, right? And it's pretty simple categories. Paid and free. There are certain situations where I am happy to do a house sit for free. Obviously, you have to weigh the pros and cons. The house that I'm in right now is 2 weeks and I am not getting paid for it, but it is a beautiful house. Like, I've just listed all the benefits that I'm receiving for 2 whole weeks, and I needed to focus on the projects that I've been doing. So it's a great situation for me. I have also done plenty of paid house sits though, which are awesome and can be a really nice way to supplement your income if you are living in a van, depending on what you're doing for work. The paid house sits that I have gotten have always been word of mouth. So not the most helpful advice. I'm sure that there are sites out there. I'm sure there are apps to connect you to the homeowners that need you. And that is definitely worth researching. What I can tell you is if you're interested in free house sits and ones all over the world, you can join Trusted House Sitters. Trusted House Sitters, there is a ton in the US, and people leave their houses for long amounts of time and they need people to look after them. Obviously, I think I've already mentioned, like, there are definitely things to think about. You don't have the freedom that you're used to. You have to come back to a location every night, which, like, to normal people probably doesn't seem that weird, but to me is kind of a difficult ask. I've just mentioned house sitting so often that I wanted to touch base and let you guys know how I do it, why I do it, in what situations it benefits me. Alright guys, thanks for watching my misadventures. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Like and subscribe for more content in the future, and feel free to comment with any questions or future subjects, van life subjects that you'd like to hear about. Thanks, see you next time.